All my life I had to fight. I had to fight my daddy. I had to fight my uncles. I had to fight my brothers. Girl, child ain't safe in the family man's. But I ain't never thought I had to fight in my own house. I love Hoppo. God knows I do. But I kill him dead before I let him be.
You know, I've heard that line so many times. I've heard it, you know, on the serious end in the movie. Although, and I'm going to disclose, it's probably the first time publicly I'm disclosing this. I've disclosed it a few times privately, but I've never seen The Color Purple. I've never seen it in its entirety. I've seen bits and pieces of it, but I've never seen it in its entirety. Um, so if my black card gets put on probation for that, I get it, you know, because there's reasons out there. I don't eat macaroni and cheese and all kinds of different stuff, but Color Purple I just never seen. I never seen it. You know, it's been on TV lots of times, and I'm not a TV movie person. If I can't see it without the commercials and see it in its entirety, I don't want to see it. I want to see it all broken up. So that's that. But that line, you know, that line, that desperate line that Oprah, you know, had that it helped her worldwide acclaim. You know, and it's been spoken over and over many a times. That's the way I feel like ADOS is out here. You know, American Descendants of Slavery. I feel like we can do is fight. You know, I mean, we're in this fight, we're in this constant struggle being a bottom caste here in the United States, and we're in this constant struggle for survival. And with so many just looking for acceptance, they just really want to be. There's people that are still locked mentally in the 50s and the 60s and the civil rights movements, and they just want equal rights. They just want civil rights. But we can't just have that at this point with everything that we've lost over the years. You can't just have that because there's been people that have come in and out on top of you. So you can't have equal rights because I don't. There's nobody that's equal to us. There's absolutely nobody. We're bottom caste. We're lower than some immigrants, people that aren't even from here. We sit beneath them. What's up, Free? How you doing, fam? It's we're talking about ADOS, and you know, I don't know if you jumped on right at the beginning, but you know, using that line from The Color Purple, you know, all our lives we've had to fight. We've had to fight for everything. And it's not that way for other people that come here. Other people that come here don't have that struggle. They don't have to go through all of the things that black people had to go through. They get to just come right in and start where we are. When you haven't repaired all the damage that you did to the black collective, you allow other people to come in and leap over them because they have no struggles. It's just not where we can be if we're going to try to survive as a faction of people. And I'm not into complaining. I'm not into complaining. We're gonna have to make some movements. And if we're gonna make some movements, we're gonna have to make some movements politically. Okay. And I talk a lot now about local politics. You got to get into your local politics. I've been seeing some things happening locally with some of the local brothers and sisters out here, and we need to continue that. We need to continue that. We need to make sure that we are galvanizing our black American vote. Because see, people don't really respect that vote. And I know they say we're only about 14, 15% of the population, but that 14, 15% of the population is a collective that put Joe Biden and Kamala Harris into the White House. And see, if one collective of people can dictate elections, why aren't we dictating our demands? That's a problem. We're not dictating our demands, but we'll go vote for somebody with no agenda. With no agenda. They have absolutely no set asides for us, but they want our vote. When other factions of people will set up an agenda and say, hey, we'll give you our vote if you get these things done, if you get in office. They get in office, they do those things for those people. Why won't black people do that? I'm just asking, why won't black people do that? Why won't black people stand up for themselves and do what they need to do to get things done the way they need to get them done? Don't let other people do that work. You know what it's taken for you to get to the point where you can actually work collectively with the government? Here, some people can just walk right into the country and they become part of a political movement and they start getting set asides that you and your people have not gotten for over 400 years. That's crazy to me. It's nuts to me. But we allow that to happen and we allow those people to move in and out. And I'm not with it. I'm not with it. We can talk about reparations all we want, but until we get on one page that we do absolutely need reparations, there's no point in talking about it. We can't have people that are halfway in, halfway out. We can't have people that think we need this, but we don't need that. We need to be restored. And whatever comes with that, that's what we need. Let's not argue about what we need. How are we going to argue with each other about what we need? And I've seen black people do that. I've seen black people, oh man, they paid for college or, they get rid of these taxes. Come on, man. You taking bits and pieces. That's what they've been doing for the last 400 years. They've been giving you bits and pieces. Don't you want your whole loaf now? You need your whole loaf. And it doesn't just come with a check. It comes with a ton of set asides, a ton of programs, and flat out, there's some things that black Americans, American descendants of slavery, should not be paying for. I know the big thing right now is Medicare for all. Black people shouldn't be paying health insurance anyway. Period. I'm talking about black Americans. I'm talking about American descendants of slavery. We shouldn't even be paying health coverage. That's crazy. The things that they've done to us and our people constitutes us not having to endure a cost for medical coverage. And if you don't know your history, that's not this video. Go look it up. The detriment they've caused to American descendants of slavery all the way back to slavery. And I said, I'm not going to dwell so much on slavery anymore. I'm not going to dwell so much on that 246 years of detriment, but I am going to dwell on the 155 years that came after it. Because that's right now. Because some people will just try to kill your conversation, be like, well, slavery was legal. Okay, so let's not talk about the 246 years of detriment. If we need to go back to it, we'll go back to it. But let's talk about the 155 years after that. There isn't anybody in history that's been treated worse after slavery. Not anybody close. 155 years of detriment after the 246 years that we're not going to talk about. So when people start trying to debate with what we need, what we don't need, the last thing I'm going to do is debate with a black person about what we need, what we deserve. Sit your ass back. You want to sit here and cut coupons about reparations? You do that on your own fucking time. We need full scheduled reparations. And I'm not going to sit here and say, well, we need this, but we don't need this. We need it all. We need it all. We'll figure out exactly how we break it up. See, the last thing we need to do is have people still telling us what they're willing to give us. This is what you guys, how you going to tell me what we need? We broke. You rich. How you going to tell us what we need to survive? Y'all got living calculators for black people? Like, they need this much money right here. They just give them this much. No. Reparations, all the programs that come with it, and then we'll move forward amicably. But you're not going to sit here and continue to lift every voice act, platinum plan, this idea. One of the things I was talking to somebody about, they make such a big deal about the black agendas and what they're going to do for black folks and black agenda. What the fuck was George Bush's black agenda? The second one, the W. What was his black agenda? What was his daddy's black agenda? What was Ronald Reagan's black agenda? See, the Republicans don't give a fuck about us, and they've always shown that. So we push them to the side. If they really wanted our vote, they'd start talking about restoring us, but they're not trying to restore us. They don't give a fuck. They don't care we're on the bottom. By and large, the Republicans don't give a shit if black people are on the bottom. But then the Democrats, they need us. And since we know they need us, then we're already right there. That's half the battle. Knowing they need us, that's half the battle. Why don't we ever demand anything from the Democrats? And I'm talking about demanding in your local politics, demanding in your state politics, all the way up to our federal politics. Why don't we demand anything? Why do we just vote for people just because, with no agenda, with nothing in line? Why do we do that? That's nuts to me. And that's happening more and more. Who else is up here? What's good, my brother Trey? Our ancestors learn or taught build generations more. Pass it down. We could have made our mark. Instead, we are taught to work 9 to 5, not to build. So we're struggling to gain worth on our own. I'm with that all the way, Tremaine. I'm totally with that, bro. But see, here's also the thing: we can work as much as we want to. We can do the exact things from today on as much as we want to. We're never going to have what our grandparents and great grandparents had. We'll never have that. So working together. What's happened has been systemic, and systemic comes from the government because that's the only system. So I get what you're saying, bro, but the real thing is the government has been the root of all of these problems. It's not that we haven't worked too hard or we changed our focus from entrepreneurship to just working. That's a problem. But we've done that out of necessity. It's not that black people haven't wanted to own their own businesses. They haven't had the initial wealth. It takes money to make money type shit to do that. So we get sucked into a 9 to 5 that gives us a comfortable check, that gives us enough where we can get by. We'll get into that. That's comfort. That's the one thing that America has given us. They've given us a sense of comfort. We ain't never really been comfortable, but Black America feels comfortable, we let go. When we get a president in there that we think may do some shit for us, we just let go. It started well before the Kenyan American. Started way before the Kenyan American. Before the Kenyan American got in there, black people would get a white politician that they would elevate to the presidency, and we would look at him as almost as a messiah, like he's going to change everything for us. What did he say he was going to change for us? What white presidential candidate has ever said he's going to do anything to change anything for us when the real change comes with reparations? Anything short of reparations, he ain't really trying to change shit. He's just trying to be nice enough to you so you vote for him. How come nobody's figuring that out? They're nice enough to you so you will vote for them. And I get that. That's politics. I'm going to do everything I need to do to get your vote. Well, no, this is what you need to do. Don't come offering what you can do. Here's what we need you to do. And if you don't do it, you're not going to get the vote. If you don't say it, if you don't put it out there, you got to put it out there. Because once they put it out there, they can't. It's not like they have the power before they get elected. But if they put it out there in masses, this is what I plan to do, and you go vote for them and they don't do it, then we tear that bitch down. But no politician is dumb enough to do that. That's fucking political suicide. To get out there campaigning, and then you get up in there and you're like, man, I ain't doing none of this shit I said I was going to do. That's political suicide. Whatever term you got, a 2-year term, a 4-year term, whatever term you got, you ain't going to last. They'll run your ass out of there. So nobody's going to do that. But black people will vote for somebody and they haven't been offered shit. I want to know why. So I'm just looking possibly for even some stories, man. You know, I mean, some of the things that I've gone through in my life, because I don't talk about like I've had this life where I've just been so downtrodden. I mean, the shit that has happened to me systemically, you know, if I had something to do with it, the wrong of it, then I say, okay, I put myself in that situation. But if it wasn't something that I did to put myself in a fucked up position and I just got thrown to the back for whatever reason, I've seen people do the same thing and get put back on. Whereas with black people, we've been given that situation where we already had two strikes. And if you got two strikes, you know, in baseball, you get three and you're out. We come in this motherfucker with two strikes. Some places you might get an extra strike, but you're already at a disadvantage. The playing surface is not even. So where you're at is already at a disadvantage. You have all the years previous, we're not talking about slavery, but it was there. And then all the years previous, hell, if we're at 155, so let's take 30 years off of my life. So we'd be at 125 years of oppression. We're at 155 years now, post slavery. We'd be at 125 years. 125 years after slavery. I mean, we're still getting hunted down by police. Just getting into adulthood, getting at 20 years old. We're being hunted down by police. I remember when me and Omar Garnett got stopped driving down Huron Street when they was looking for Irvin Mitchell. Irvin Mitchell's the serial rapist they end up convicting. I think he's got life. Irvin was 6'7", 6'8". When we got out the car, they could see we were shorter than both police officers, and I think they were barely 6. I think they were barely 6. Me and 5'9", 5'10", whatever. And they're asking us all these questions as if like we could be potential suspects to these rape cases when everybody has said it's a very tall black man. Now, I don't know who y'all consider tall, but 5'9", 5'10" is not tall. But they were harassing us to the point where it was like they really acting like we could be part of this shit. We right here on Huron Street, literally right by the courthouse, county courthouse. Get out the car and they search the car, all kinds of shit. And it just showed like we were in no way near anywhere in the description of a rapist that they were looking for. Damn near a foot shorter than the guy that they're looking for. But they're just giving us the business about there's people that had to give up their blood, man. I mean, I figure if you ain't 6'5", why are they even looking at you? We were 5'9", 5'10". But this is what they've done. You know, that's police brutality. And working, going to school, there was schools really didn't get into allowing black people to go to school. Shit, until what? The 70s, 60s, 70s? We started to be able to go to school. In the 80s, it ramped up, in the early 90s. But most universities, they found a way not to admit black students. HBCUs thrive because black kids needed a place to go. Where we got stuck with that was HBCUs are only undergrad colleges. They're not graduate schools. So you got to get accepted into graduate school if you really want to go make that long bread. You can get your bachelor's and you can do well, but back in the day, you went and got that master's after the fact. And you had to go to a major university because no HBCU had graduate school. Declined. So now you get into the workforce. You get in the workforce, probably got student loans, you got whatever it is. You're trying to work your way out of debt instead of starting a life and this, that, and the other. Man. So it made getting out of college, and sometimes them college degrees didn't always work out, and you might end up working at the plant. You could have a degree and end up working at the plant just because you need to put food on the table. And they weren't hiring for the degree that you got because you really needed the master's, but you couldn't get the master's degree. So you were stuck with the bachelor, and then you'd be too entry level. Here's this plant job, makes things comfortable. So we get comfortable. We don't maximize ourselves. Maximizing ourselves would have been seeking out something that degree would pay for. But you get comfortable with the plant check because once it's offered, dude, you take that bread, you put that food on your table. Absolutely free. Shit ain't changed. It ain't changed at all. And politically, we're not responding to what's going on the way we need to respond. This shit is real. I mean, they're literally talking about doing another stimulus check and giving up $1,200 after months. Months of not giving no money up. There's some places getting 2,400, 2,500. Businesses being totally subsidized to be able to stay open. They talking about going several months with nothing, and then the new check gonna be 1,200 again. Why are they so locked in? Ray, you know why they're so locked in on the 1,200? Why does the 1,200 make sense for the stimulus check? You never know? Okay. I want to know why. Why the stimulus check is at 1,200. I mean, what's America? This is the most expensive place in the fucking world to live. You got the most resources, so I can understand why. But why $1,200? And why, after all of these months of not seeing anything, why would they think $1,200 is going to be the end all be all for people? I don't get that. I wonder why that 1,200. Do you know, Free? Do you know why 1,200? Well, I've heard 600 too. I think they were trying to negotiate 1,200, but I want to know why 1,200 was the number and why is 1,200 being floated around now. But I've actually heard 600, and I'm like, shit. You already embarrassing motherfuckers at 1,200. Now you gonna reel it back to 6? You gonna cut that in half? How you cut poverty in half? I mean, I ain't talking about cutting poverty in half, like cutting it in half, like you doing better, like you cut it in half like a sandwich and then you double it up. So I'm not even gonna give you the 1,200. I'm gonna give you half of your poverty sandwich. Your whole poverty sandwich would have been 1,200 right here. Now we gonna combine it. Now it's a half a sandwich, but you don't really get 1,200. It's condensed. It's condensed. 600, after several months of getting nothing, they would offer that to American citizens. $600. What can you do with $600? I mean, I understand it's the holidays right now. Hopefully, some people just wouldn't be thinking about just going to buy some damn Christmas presents. Because if shit's about to get cut off, the last thing you need to be fucking worrying about is some damn Christmas presents. Real shit. It's the last thing you need to be worrying about. Christmas presents. But I know that there's people out there that are. And they have kids, and rightfully so, you know, they want to get kids things. That's what I'm saying. How can we not be seeking a justice claim when we know people are just flat out here hurting? And we got to get past all this pride shit. We know people ain't got it out here. We got to get past the pride shit. If you on your motherfucking knuckles, man, and you need some help, then you need to talk to people out here. There's no way you should be out here struggling to the point where you have to do God knows what to take care of your family. There's networks and there's all kinds of shit that's out here. But I hear about some of the shit is horrific. Some of the things that people have to do to survive. Everybody's not fortunate enough to be able to have a stable income. Hell, to have an unstable income, to have any income. Everybody doesn't have it. So if you don't have it, you need to speak up. 1,200 is going to the bottom cast, if you think about it. Those who are on assets and annual income about 12,000 years. So now, who's in those groups? Yeah, kind of resembles ADOS. A lot of ADOS. I mean, the median black family is worth $1,700. And you doing good when the median black family was at Boston worth $8. Median black family in LA, $200. Something. I mean, just dumb numbers. 1,700 don't sound that bad when you talk about people that are worth $8. $8. You imagine your family's worth $8? $8. and you have a sense of pride to where you let your family starve, you can't have no pride over that, bro. Sis, anybody. You can't have no pride to the point where you allow your family to starve. You don't want to say nothing. You don't want nobody to know you're not doing well. You don't need that, man. You don't need that on your conscience. Hmm. Yeah, well, that's what I'm doing right now. This is Sean. That's what I'm doing right now. We speaking only on ADOS points. See, I don't have time to speak on anybody else's points. I mean, I'll speak on some things that happen out here in the world and everything like that. But where I'm most concerned is what's happening to the ADOS collective, because we're not we're not clumping ourselves in with anybody. I mean, we're different. We're not people of color, and we're not minorities. You leave those names, those tags up to different people. Black Americans, and I'm gonna go right to what your president-elect said. Black Americans put the president in the White House. Absolutely. He said this. He said he owes us. We've had his back before, and we've done it again, and now he's gonna have our back. What you gonna do, man? What you gonna do? You can't get in there. You done said it. You said it publicly. You said, you're gonna have our backs. But see, one of the things with the people that have been put in place are, in those positions where they can get right to the president, they're not asking for the right shit. And frankly, he's tired of talking about the same shit over and over. That's why he lit their ass up in that Zoom meeting. Hmm? That's why he lit their ass up in that Zoom meeting, because they weren't talking the same. They were talking the same shit. They weren't talking no new shit. He's a new president. He like, I need some new ideas up in this bitch. Joe's not coming in with a whole bunch of fucking ideas. Joe's gonna have to be, maneuvered towards some different things. So he's gonna need some people to push some new ideas on him. They keep coming with that same shit: police reform, affordable housing, this, that, and the other. No, motherfucker, put it on the table. Reparations. We need restorative justice, Joe. Joe, we need restorative justice. You said black people got you in, and if you want to stay in for another 4, or you ain't gonna stay in, you ain't gonna run again, Kamala want to get in here, then we need reparations. We need to get to talking about it now, Joe. I mean, you got to think about it. You got to think about it.
And anybody you know.
Joe said, anybody you know.
And anybody you know.
Anybody you know. Ain't nobody took care of the blacks the way Joe has. Okay? Joe said he, black or white, he's the one that's looked out for the blacks. When they get in that Zoom call and they allow him to say that without saying, well, Mr. President, all due respect, what have you done for us? That's the stage to ask. I'm politically ignorant. I get it. But when are you going to ask that question? If you don't ask it right there, you got him right now. Inauguration hasn't gone through. You got him right there. Why don't you ask that question? Why didn't anybody ask that question? Cedric Richmond, Mark Morial, Al Sharpton. Al, what you doing up there, Al? You the one that said you know Joe, and Joe's a good man. Well, why didn't you ask Joe if Joe's a good man? See, that's why y'all, anybody still listening to Al Sharpton, it's a problem. It's a real problem. If you're still actually listening to Al Sharpton and getting political intel from that guy, that's a problem. I read somewhere where they were saying $600 was better than nothing. Really? And they were trying to tell us how to spend it. 1,200, 600, 700 is spent before it even comes in. Man, it's already going out. It's already going out. It's already spent. It's already earmarked. 12, 10, 8, 4, whatever. It's already earmarked. You have to get ready to put pressure out here politically. Everything else is nonsense. Anybody that's not talking to you about getting involved in your local politics and your state politics and having that run up the flagpole, they're not talking nothing real. All this ranting and raving is crazy shit. But there's nothing that can be done with Joe because he can't be in power. He's not going to be in power until the 20th of January. And they're definitely not trying to make any moves or say anything because it's almost like they're scared. Like they're scared Donald Trump's going to do something different. The motherfucker's already talking about he's trying to execute 5 motherfuckers before he gets out of office. I get it. He's mad. He's trying to light 5 people up before he gets out. He doesn't necessarily have to, but he's just trying to make it happen. He's trying to build that legacy up, you know, because what he's done throughout his tenure, he's killed motherfuckers. I mean, he's killed motherfuckers. He's gonna go out as an executioner between COVID and electrocutions. He's trying to go out with a bang. That's all they are. He's not hell. He's not only a media whore. He's a federal informant. I mean, Al's been suspect for so long. I just can't see people when they ride with Al. I'm like, how are you riding with Al when you know he's a government informant? Once a snitch, always a snitch, man. There's no such thing as a reformed snitch. You cannot rehab from snitching. Once you snitch, you snitched. And you're labeled as such, and then you get pushed to the side. Not Al. Al's figured out a way to stay in the mainstream. He's a fucking snitch on MSNBC. I ain't never told on nobody, and I'm on Facebook Live. I can do the same shit Al does. Al doesn't do anything for the black collective. I can hop right in his seat and say exactly what he does for the black collective. He just wants to be seen at this point. He wants to be seen, he wants to collect them coins. He ain't trying to get nothing done for black Americans. He may have been at one time. I think he's always kind of been a poverty pimp, but he may have been at one time trying to really do things for the black collective, but he's not trying to do things for the black collective now. He's trying to do things for Al. Al. Okay. But yeah, you gotta know where all of this is going, and it's politics driven. People tell you don't have to get involved in politics. I know a lot of do for selfers out here, and there's absolutely nothing wrong with doing for self. As black Americans, we are quite often undercapitalized, and the only way you're going to get the necessary capital is from the banks. We ain't sitting on a whole lot of dead relatives, inheritances, and all that stuff. We're not sitting on that as black Americans because a lot of our people didn't own shit. But where the money is with the government. Where our detriment is with the government. So where our justice claim is with the government. If you don't understand that, then I'm not even sure why you would even see this if you don't understand that. Period. I mean, Joe's gotten up there. And if you think about it, Joe Biden sounds a lot like Donald Trump. If you think about it, Joe Biden and Donald Trump are two overbearing, domineering. Joe was arrogant. I don't think he's as arrogant as he used to be. He was arrogant when he had his mullet. Trump, he hasn't aged well, so he's still arrogant. Trump still thinks he could go like out and do the wrestling shit. He thinks he's still there, and he's not there. But he thinks he's there. So that's where that ignorance comes in. Joe knows he doesn't have all his faculties. Joe knows this. I mean, the motherfucker twisted his ankle fucking with his dog. So he knows he doesn't have all his faculties. Trump, nah. Trump thinks he still can do something out here. But Joe sounds eerily like Donald Trump. And hell, since Donald Trump wasn't a politician before 5 years ago, did Donald Trump sound like Joe? Because Joe's talked like this for years. I want to play something that Joe said, and then I want to play something that Donald said, and see if those motherfuckers don't sound alike. Real talk. I just want to play it.
Let's get something straight. You shouldn't be disappointed. What I've done so far is more than anybody else has done this far. Okay? Number one. Number two, I mean what I say when I say it. I mean what I say when I say it. I'm the only person who's ever run on 3 platforms that I was told could not possibly win the election, and I never ceased from it. One was on restoring the soul of this country because of what I saw happen in Charlottesville. That was it. No one else was talking about it. The words of presidents matter. Nobody else, no progressive, was talking about it.
So I thought pretty much all the Democratic presidential candidates talked about the racial injustices, talked about all the things that had gone on since they did a lot of campaigning, last year into this year. There's been a lot of people that have been killed by police. They've talked about those unjustified killings, different things like that. I didn't think Joe was the first person, but since Joe said he was the first person, and he said it over and over, and he made you believe it. And this is during when he was talking to the colored folks on the Zoom call. So he made you really believe that he did that shit. Domineering, confident, kind of cocky, very disrespectful. But that's, when you think about it, that's the way Joe's always taught. So maybe that day he had his ginseng and shit, had his ginkgo biloba and all that bullshit. He had it all going. He had it all pumping that day. And a half a cup of coffee. They can't give him a full cup of coffee and have him sit there. Joe would have had to pee. Joe's bladder's too fucked up. He damn near 80. Joe drink a whole cup of coffee, he going to piss. And they didn't need him to go piss in the middle of that Zoom call. They need him to sit there, Or he might be wearing Depends. Joe he might have Depends. That motherfucker damn near 80. How old are you when you wear Depends? Ray, how old are you when you start wearing Depends? Yeah. No, I'm talking about Joe Biden. Is he eligible to wear Depends? Ray said he can wear Depends. He's 78. No, but I'm just saying, I was saying Joe probably can't drink a whole cup of coffee without having to go to the bathroom. He's got an old bladder. And when they did that long Zoom call, he never got up the whole time. So, if you never gets up, he ain't going to sit there on a bottle of water and a cup of coffee. At 78, Joe going to have to go.
We sat and listened to your video for 4 hours and we had to go, but we made it through.
We 50. Joe 80. Yeah, his bladder be like, the hell with this. Joe got Depends. Joe got Depends. Anyways, so that was Joe talking the way he talked. Now, this is a little snippet of Don talking the way he talks. Donald Trump was only a politician for 5 years. This is Donald talking the way he talked.
Nobody has done more for the black community than Donald Trump. And if you look, with the exception of Abraham Lincoln, possible exception, but the exception of Abraham Lincoln, nobody has done what I've done.
So he's gone with that one a few times. I've heard that a few times where he's basically said, other than the motherfucker who freed the slaves, ain't nobody been around here that's done nothing for y'all niggas since. He said, look, 1865, you're out. 63, what was it? I don't know. I don't know when Abraham Lincoln did it. When it was all done, I think it was 1865. And he said until then, until 2016, from 1865, let's say, to 2016, ain't nobody did shit for black people. Now he's the GOAT. He's the GOAT. They make Depends. They make Depends in briefs. Are they briefs or boxers? So they just wear them as drawers? Nah. Come on, man. They make like regular draws as Depends? Man, I didn't know that. Are they boxers or briefs? Do they have a fly hole? Do they have a fly hole? I mean, at that point, are you just pulling them down, you know? And this is just for P, right? People don't let off in no Depends, right? They're like pull-ups. Wait a minute. Do you let off in Depends though, or do you just pee? You don't drop bombs in the underwear. You don't walk around shitty like that. I know. Are Depends for pee or shit? Ray, are Depends for pee or shit? Are Depends for pee or poop? Okay, so they're not. So they're not for you to let off in.
Why do you keep asking like I'm
Because Frida's telling me that they're like pull-ups.
They might be, but I don't know why you think I'm the expert on Depends.
I thought you might. I thought you.
No, I'm not the expert on Depends, but I think she might be right. I think they might hold it
She
off.
says, "I think you can." Wow, I didn't know there was something like that. I wonder how it holds back the smell. You coming? You coming upstairs? We got a 2-foot killer in here. Not the dogs, they 2 feet too, but this one here. What's up, man? I'm doing something. I'm doing something. I'm talking. You see that? No, but don't turn it off. You can't turn that off. No, no, thank you. No, thank you. No, ma'am. No, ma'am.
And anybody you know.
That scare you?
You hear me?
You hear me?
You hear me?
I love you. You hear me? So where we have to be with Joe, we can't worry about putting pressure on him. He's in the hot seat. And hopefully, if he's in the hot seat, that he's wearing the pins. We'll need him in the hot seat with a weak bladder. Chocolate chunk? Chocolate chunk? Mm-hmm. Is it good? I think it's good. I think it's good. So you see where I'm at, Free. You see where I'm at. He's eating her cookie now. Don't put on your shirt. Yeah. The baby. The baby. Good job. Got it. You got a coconut? She eligible for more cookie? All right. Kai is gone. So I'm not sure if everybody is up for the fight, but if we're going to get reparations, if we can put 34 million people to the polls to vote for Joe Biden, if Kamala Harris wants those same 34 million ADOS, he said it was 85% of us, 85% of the 40 million is 34. And I know I might not be exactly right there, but 14%, that'd be 40 million. 85% of the 40 million is 34. So potato, potato. We're up a little bit, a little lower, whatever. We're right there. Joe said we got him into the White House. If we got him into the White House, we can get him out of the White House. Or if he doesn't run again, Kamala won't have a shot. We got to put pressure on them. But before we do that, we got to do it locally. We got to do it on the state end, and then we go federal. That's just getting organized. Everybody else gets organized. And I know there's so many people that they want to be the boss. They want to be the chief. They want to be this. Dude, it does not matter who's leading shit because we ain't running shit unless we are collected. We can run shit if we're collected. If we get everybody together and then we unite, that's one thing. But just a whole bunch of other people just out here all over the place. It's like the chick in California talking about reparations will be good if they just pay for some education. Pay for education for who? Everybody's not going to go to school for one. Everybody doesn't need the same thing. It's not about free education. We should get that anyway. They killed us if we learn how to read. That's as detrimental to us on the education side as they were the health field. I said we don't need to pay health coverage and we shouldn't be paying for school. They killed us if we learn how to read. Man. Why are we paying for school when they didn't allow us to read? What, they don't say sorry and like, okay, we'll give you a discount? No, motherfucker, free. Free. Just like you did Native Americans, free. You gave them land, hundreds of thousands of acres, millions of acres of land, free. They didn't have to work for it, they didn't have to qualify for it. They're Native Americans. There's only 6 million Native Americans. But America licks their balls. There's 40 million ADOS. This is what America does to ADOS. And we let them do it just by casting a vote for nothing. No agenda, no nothing. We cast a vote for them. They start talking about they're going to start building up some fucking 500,000 acres of tribal lands for Native Americans. Y'all get y'all 40 acres? I get y'all 40 acres? They getting 500,000 more acres. If they gave us the 500,000 acres, what's that? 80 acres? We get 80 acres apiece. They double up on us. 40 million? Yeah. 80 acres, 500,000? Yeah. We could get 80 acres. They promised us 40. They pulled it back. We could get 80 acres. We could double up. And I don't need no fucking donkey. Keep your mule. Give me about 10 John Deere on that bitch. Make a deal with John Deere. John Deere's benefited off of the detriment of black people too. Make a deal with John Deere, Briggs and Stratton, and Toro, and all them motherfuckers. We need you to give up some tractors and shit to the blacks. Do it. Because they're subsidized. I bet you they got PPP money to stay busy. I bet you Toro did. I bet you Briggs and Stratton did. I bet you John Deere did. I bet you they all got fucking PPP money. Black people got nothing. So yeah, man, it is what it is. Free people been talking about that damn live last week. I got to run some things by you. See what you think. It opened up a lot of people's eyes. That's one thing I'm glad about. You know, people need to hear the truth. We need to be truth-based folk. We cannot be fallacy-based folk, fairy tale-based folk. We need to be truth-based folk. If we're going to be in this shit, we've got to be truth-based. We've got to be all about the truth. It's a struggle. I get it. But we can't get comfortable trying to gain acceptance when we don't have access.
All my life I had to fight. All my life I had to fight.
That's y'all out here. That's y'all out here. We've had to fight. We've had to fight. But you can't fight and be fighting with the wrong weapons. You got to fight with the right weapons. And right now, the weapons is politics. Flat out. The weapons is politics. And if you don't want to fight and have politics be in your arsenal, step to the side. Step to the side. Get the fuck out of the way. We'll say excuse me first, but after that, we're stepping on toes. We don't have time to waste now. We got to align ourselves. Everybody else is aligning themselves. Black Americans still scurrying around, and there's still people out here debating whether we need it or not. Are you kidding me? As much as I hear people talking about they're looking for that stimulus check, are you kidding me? If you got reparations, that $1,200 would be in your piggy bank. But it starts with your mindset changing. I don't know why we don't think more of who we are and what we're worth. Why? We're worth way more than we give ourselves credit for. We are viable in this country. If we all stood united, just as y'all stood united with that Black Lives Matter shit. And I'm not saying that Black lives don't matter, and I'm not here to put a fucking addendum on this and that and the other, but the same way y'all united with that shit, and now it's turning out that Black Lives Matter done took all that money that was meant for black folks and done ran off to the hills with it. How about we put that same energy towards our scope? We put that energy towards our scope. Black Lives Matter collected $10 billion. People still getting put out on the street. People still losing their businesses. They didn't even support their own local chapters who could go out into those individual communities and take care of folk. People still getting locked up, getting beat up, getting brutalized. They ain't paid nobody's attorney's fees, no nothing. Where's the money? See, they didn't even trust themselves. They did the nigga shit. They went and got a white firm to take care of that $10 billion. A black firm doesn't even control Black Lives Matter's money. A white firm controls it. And I'm not saying that a white firm can't do an adequate job, but don't Black Lives Matter? Don't you want to do business with black people? Y'all run and go get Benjamin Crump every time somebody gets murked. Y'all go get Lee Merritt every time somebody gets murked. And then Black Lives Matter, Black Lives Matter. I bet you Benjamin Crump and Lee Merritt got a whole bunch of Black Lives Matter signs in their offices. That's who y'all up. But when it was time to collect the money and get the bread aligned to come to BLM, send it off to the white folks. Let's make more white people rich. If somebody's taking care of your fund and you bring in $10 billion, you know what the commission on that is? Get out of here, man. Y'all don't understand. Y'all don't understand. But that's okay. I know we have problems out here.
All my life I had to fight.
Oh, yeah, I know we have problems out here. And I hear the complaining, the bitching, the moaning, and the needing of that $1,200 check, which there's nothing wrong with needing it because you goddamn it, you need it rightfully. But if you fighting and you scratching and scraping and waiting for that check, then why won't you fight for reparations? You don't want to be considered ADOS? Okay. Just say my great-great-granddaddy and great-great-grandmama was slaves. ADOS covers all that. It encompasses all of that. Some of y'all, but if y'all want to say slaves, okay. See, my great-great-grandparents weren't slaves. They was two beautiful ass people that were enslaved. Had all types of capabilities using their hands, working with their hands, working in the field, this, that, and that. They called them farmers, but they probably were fucking botanists. They called him sharecroppers, but he was probably a horticulturist. But really, he was a slave. But this was after America had been built. So now he's an American slave. Then my grandfather was born. And I'm a descendant of my grandfather. So I'm an American descendant of slavery. But I'm not going to say that my great-great-grandparents were slaves. Shit, there was much more than that. Y'all got to pick a name. Pick a name. Just pick any fucking thing. I don't care what you pick. Pick something. And then get your feet to moving. All this other bullshit don't matter. Y'all don't have it. I don't have it. A lot of people don't have it. Only way we gonna get it is align ourselves politically.
All my life I had to fight.
I'm trying to tell you. You got to get your life in order. You got to get your family's life in order. They talking about 2053, we'll be flat ass broke here. On this soil. Black Americans, American descendants of slavery. You think they're gonna try to wait us out? It's 33 years. Well, 32 is almost 21. Think they're gonna try to wait us out, or they're gonna do something for us? Only way I think we really have a good chance of them doing something for us is if we put pressure on them. We can't just sit and wait and just flounder all the way to the bottom. We wait and we flounder to the bottom. Okay. We'll be third world in this bitch. People will be advancing. All your kids ain't gonna be professional athletes. Get them into coding, get them into programming, get them into doing something that's got to do with automation, because that's where this world is fucking headed. Don't have them out here only being able to work with their hands. Make sure they can work with their hands, but make sure they can work with their brain. If you don't, you're in trouble. Jobs are heading towards automation, not away from it. They're heading towards it. And if you don't get yourself dug in somewhere and you've got something sustainable that you can make money off of and your family can make money off of it, God damn it, you better get in the line to get reparations. Fight for all the other fights, but fight for this fight first.
All my life I had to fight.
If you don't do that, I don't know exactly what you're gonna do. Your job's not guaranteed, which means your home won't be guaranteed, which means your vehicle won't be guaranteed, and then which means the safety of your family won't be guaranteed. I'm gonna get back on this thing and be more assertive in ways where some people dig and some people don't. So I think there's different factions of people that we reach with different messages. I can say the same message to other people and they'll take it differently. Some people don't want to take it because they think they're doing okay. They think they're doing well. They're off for the Christmas season now. Friday was a lot of people's last day until after the new year. So they figure they got their Christmas check, their bonus check, and all the presents are paying. Okay, good. Then there's that next level of people that are still trying to make it happen. Stimulus check ain't coming before Christmas, so don't try to wait on that. What's going to happen after Christmas? Because you don't try to make it happen for your family, which I'm not saying don't. I'm saying be sensible, but I know how we get around the holidays. And if you weren't sensible, then your family is going to pay for it after the holidays. And that's unfortunate. And for some, they're just a few weeks off from that, because then they file for their taxes and they get the big lump sum tax refund, and then everything's gravy for the next 67 days. I know how it goes, man. I never got one of the big ass checks, but I know how it goes. But y'all need to do what you need to do, man. And if you're not going to do what you need to do, stay out the way. There's people out here that are going to work. We're going to get things done, and they may end up benefiting you. And at the end of it all, just say thank you, motherfucker. Just say thank you.
All my life I had to fight. I had to fight my daddy. I had to fight my uncles. I had to fight my brothers. Girl, child ain't safe in the family men's. But I ain't never thought I had to fight in my own house. I love Harpo. God knows I do. But I kill him dead before I let him.
It's the BlackWatch Facebook Live version. Because I'm a black man and I watch shit. One love, free. Think it's just you and I in here. And that's all I need. You heard it. And I know you'll tell somebody else. One love.